Wow, it feels like it's been a while since I had to quickly make an NCAA huge news dump, but here we are talking about the new NCAA rules. We will dive into those rules soon in this quick little video on this beautiful afternoon, but first, hey everyone, my name is Tanner and welcome to TrueTan Wrestling. Like I said, I do breaking news stories in the wrestling space. I've been making way too early lineup breakdowns and of course, diving headfirst into the freestyle season with several videos all on that. If you end up checking my stuff out after watching this video, be sure to subscribe to my good old channel, and at the very least like this video. That would be greatly appreciated. Along with that, if you have any questions about the new 4 NCAA rules, feel free to shoot me a question in the comment section below and I will try my best to answer it. Now let's talk some new NCAA rules, ladies and gentlemen. For starters, these rules came out last Thursday on June 16th, I believe. So we have had all weekend to process these rules, and for anyone who didn't like them, they had all weekend to calm down about them. Now, the first two rules I'm going to combine into one section because I think they somewhat go hand in hand, and I sort of see what the NCAA is doing with them. Most of these new rules seem to be put in place to help true freshmen or first-year students, or help students academically in general, but at the same time, you can look at it a bunch of different ways, so let's just jump into the first two rules. Rule number 1, true freshmen can compete in up to 5 dates of competition without using a year of eligibility. Rule number 2, no true freshman can compete unattached in the first semester of the wrestling season. Now, I put these two rules together because they sort of go hand in hand. For starters, we finally got the rule where freshmen can compete for a few tournaments or dual meets without blowing a year of eligibility. Just to be specific, it says dates and not just matches, just so everyone catches that. So 5 tournaments equals the same as 5 dual meets. This is a huge rule that wrestling fans have wanted for years because it is directly picked from football, where freshmen can start for 4 games and not blow a red shirt, which can make a huge impact in a few situations. For example, let's use Colin Shriver from Iowa for a second. Last year, DeSanto sat out for a little bit of time, so they pulled Shriver's red shirt for him to start one weekend, and that was a whole year of eligibility blown. Now with this new rule, all of that could have changed, which is super promising for the future of red shirts. However, the second rule kind of adds more complications that I don't really think we needed with it. Rule 2 states that freshmen or first-year wrestlers in the first half of the year, so the back end of the fall semester before winter break, they have to wrestle attached. Now with that knowledge, think about when a lot of the opens are. They are normally in the first half of the season. Now to be fair, this is a minor nitpick because the big opens like Midlands and Scuffle are technically the second half, and then there is some more post-Christmas and later half opens, but I just think this rule is really odd. Some of those smaller first semester opens are huge tests and developments for true freshmen. I know they can still wrestle in these events and have dates available if they wrestle in 1 or 2, but I feel like the rule was just put in place so coaches don't just use their stud red shirts for duels, which are primarily in the second half of the season. I know that sounds like a huge speculation, which to be honest it is, but that's just kind of how I interpreted it. I love the first rule, I just wish coaches and athletes could pick their 5 dates at will, you know? Granted, if a kid is redshirting anyway for that season, he can just wrestle in the beginning opens and then redshirt in the second half anyway. Also, almost no redshirt wrestler is in more than 2 tournaments in the first half anyway, so I'm just raising a minor question. Not a real big deal, and I don't really see it playing an issue. And to take the NCAA's word for it, I think this rule was put in place for academic reasons. Also to help freshmen adjust better, which also plays a factor in academics. But to be fair, you can look at these two rules in a million different ways, so we'll just have to see how it plays out in this upcoming season and seasons after that. I'm just glad the NCAA is making such a big change like this. Rule number 3, 20% minimum on scholarship athletes, except less than 20% can be offered to junior athletes who have not been on scholarship before. This one I'm a little confused on because wouldn't this hurt a few teams? The top programs are fine. They probably have their 9.9 scholarships, but some smaller universities might not have that 9.9. So they are trying to scatter what they do have across a 10 roster team, which is really hard to begin with. And then you add a 20% minimum of a full ride. So now if you are giving scholarship money, it has to be 20% at the minimum. So you're not only giving a set amount to a few guys, but you're also limiting some people until they are at least juniors if they stick around. Like I said, I think this is an alright rule that will help some athletes, but it also could hurt some others, of course. This is also a rule, to be fair, we probably won't hear about as fans unless some coaches speak up about it, and it won't be implemented until the 23 to 24 class comes in, so we got a little bit of time until coaches really have to change their recruiting strategy with their money. Rule number 4, a minimum GPA for eligibility is 2.0. School is different for everyone and some people are a little better than others, so I guess this is a pretty fair rule. Most programs try to keep their athletes' grades as close or over a 3.0 anyway, because if your grades are bad, it's more stress and more time away from wrestling, so I think this change will sort of help, but I also only think a very minor group will need it. I'm not trying to throw any disrespect, that's just my overall opinion on it. And with all that, everyone, those are the 4 new rule changes in NCAA wrestling. No step out point yet or any major literal wrestling changes, just all academic or eligibility changes, which for the most part I think are pretty good. I might have seemed like I was complaining a little bit, but I was more just trying to answer my own questions, along with getting this information out to all of my subscribers. The first rule is a huge step for wrestling, and I really can't wait to see how coaches and those athletes put them into effect for their freshmen. It is also going to totally change the freshman wrestling landscape, so like I said, super excited to see it in play. Now, if you enjoyed this news dump, be sure to give it a like or subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more of the fun, along with leaving your thoughts on the new rule changes or any questions in the comment section below. And I hope to see you all in the next one, and take care, everybody.